Hello, I'm Nobby. Welcome to my workshop. Starting another afternoon project, which I hope you like. I'm going to make or attempt to make a hook ruler. Reason being, it's something I've wanted to have for a long time, and the only ones really that I know of that are available on the market are all excessively expensive, much more than I would really want to pay for one. I think there may only be one or two companies making them, I think mostly in America, one being Starrett. So I've found a sort of a nice inexpensive stainless steel ruler or scale, and I'm going to make the hook part. I've found a nice thin piece of scrap stainless steel that I'm going to use, and let's see how we get on with it. I hope you'll stick around and watch this and see how we proceed with it. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and let's get on with it. This is a piece of scrap stainless steel. There's no dimensions on this at all. Doesn't really need any dimensions. So I had one already machined side of this. So I've just run an end mill across here just to make it sort of nice and parallel. And now I just need to bring this part to length. Obviously I've got to clean up the burrs on this first, so I'll bring you back for a bit more. Well, you saw me machine this to size this way in the Y position. I've already cleaned up one end, side cutting it, and I've scribed a measurement here of 1 inch and 1/8 along here, so I've just got to bring the cutter down to the line. I don't know that you actually better see that, but you can probably just about see the piece of metal overhanging at the edge of the vise here. Bring that in, and screaming a bit because it's there's quite a bit of overhang here, and it's obviously a very, very thin piece of material. So we'll just make a measurement if we can. Set my caliper 2 inches. Just a little way to go. I try and use the DRO if I can to get this near to size. I've got 7 X, so right, I'm going to come into take another measurement. Still a way to go. About 11 thou to go. Let's try that. Tighten that up. 5. So what about eighth thou to go, I think. Right. See, here we're looking. A little bit over by about 2.5 thousandths, but I think that's going to be okay. Right, let's remove that part and do a bit of deburring on it, and then I'll bring you back for the next. Well, in the event when I took it out of the vise, I was able to measure it more accurately. I mean, I should have trusted the DRO more, I think, but a better measurement on that. I've got it to 1 1/8, 1.125. So what I've got to do now is I've glued this one side up, is to set this up just to sort of knock off the top corners here, so I can as I blew it up, I can just mark those corners off, not right down to the bottom here, but just a bit across the top. It doesn't in a way really need this. It's if you like, a bit more cosmetic than anything else, but I think it'll make it look a little bit neater just to chop those corners off, and I'll bring you back for that part as well. I've set the piece of metal up in the vise, and I've used a parallel to set this up, that the scribe line I've got on here, and I've decided on an angle here 45 degrees, which is good enough. So I've just, so you can just about see I've scribed the line here, and I can just now machine down to that line. In a previous video I did, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I showed the Starrett tool that I bought and how the little marking here was about half a degree out. I found that seems to be fairly standard for these, so there's people have found all sorts of different ways to correct it. One by grinding the bottom here at an angle, so that sets right when you put a set square in here. But what I did was I set this up with a set square. I can actually undo that now. Set it up with a set square that in here, and then I just put a piece of self-adhesive plastic film on here, and I've remarked the position, and you can see that that marking, you can't see it, that marking was originally roughly in the centre here, so now it's in the correct position. So I've tried it at all different angles and tested it in here, and it's okay. It's okay now. I mean, you shouldn't have to do that, but it was the only way around it. The other option was chucking it in the bin, which I didn't want to do. But anyway, that bit's sorted now. So anyway, I'll carry on machining. I'll just show you a bit of this. It's just sort of a bit of standard machining, basically. I've had to bring a light into the front so that you and I can see where I'm machining down to as well. Let's switch on. Just move a bit of that ragged edge there. See how near I am to the line. I think that looks all right. I'm just going to take the slightest little bit off, but I think that's it. So there we are. All I've got to do now is turn this around, set it up again for the other corner, and machine that down in the same way. Yeah, it looks as though I'm just about on the line now. So I'll get that done. The rest of that off camera. That's our hook part, which will sit there. Obviously that surface will be level with that one, and I'll cut another piece of material. I did this off camera because it's much the same as working that other part there, so that bit hopefully will sit across there and hold it to the ruler. So what I need to do is attach that part, I think, probably to here first, and then I can line that up with the ruler. Obviously the ruler has to be absolutely flush with this edge here, and that will obviously, when this other part's attached to it, that will pull it down against the ruler itself, or scale, and then it gives me a hook on both sides. So I think we'll probably attack that part first. Drill probably a single hole will do actually, and then find a tiny screw to hold that in place, and similarly onto the ruler itself. So I'll bring you back when I'm a bit further along. I've marked out the small part here, so I've got to drill a couple of holes in here. I'm going for 3mm screws, so I'm going to drill the 3mm clearance holes first. We'll just see how we get on with this, because this being stainless steel, not the easiest thing to drill. The spot drill here is only high speed steel. I have got a 3mm cobalt drill, which I hope will cope with this okay. Something I was a bit worried about is drilling the ruler or scale itself. So what I did was, this already has a hole here where you hang it up, so I've done a test drilling here just to see how it copes with it. So this isn't incredibly hardened, it's probably just basic stainless steel. I think this is a sort of there's no manufacturer's name on this, it's probably just an inexpensive import ruler that I've picked up somewhere or other. I've got a couple of these, so it was worth doing that just to see how I would actually get on drilling through that part. Anyway, I'm going to try the spot drilling first. So I think you can probably just about see it, although all I'm doing is drilling a hole. So we'll spot drill. No, that's moved. So bear with me a moment, I'll just reset. Let's have another try. But obviously I didn't get this clamped into this little vice tight enough. I've tightened it up a lot more, so hopefully it will do it this time. Let's have another try. Set the drill up for the other hole. I'll do the two spot holes first. Try and get them lined up best I can. Hopefully that will be okay. Well, let's hope this works okay. I've got the cobalt drill in here, so I hope that's going to cope with the material as well. Just hope it doesn't slip again. I think a bit more cutting oil on that. There's a bit of smoke coming off, so put some more oil on. It's gone through okay. Set up for the other hole. And we're through. So I think that's going to be okay. So what I'll need to do now is transfer one of the holes onto this piece, obviously with a tapping drill this time, to tap out for a 3mm screw to go in there. Well, I transferred the hole from the little plate onto the hook part, and I've already spot drilled it, so I've got to drill this through for a 3mm tap. So This is a 2.5mm drill in here. We'll try and line that up. A little bit of a oil on there. So this goes through okay. It would have been nice to have had parallels under this, but I haven't got any thin enough to go in here. I did make some, for the milling machine, some sacrificial parallels, but they're actually too tall for this job, so what I'll probably have to do in the future is actually make some thinner ones now. That's gone through okay. So what I need to do now is get the, I think what I'll do is start the drill off in the tap rather, in the chuck here, to get it going in straight. There it is. It's a high speed steel tap, so I'm hoping this is gonna work okay. I can turn it all right. Let's get some of that off my brush. Get some of that swarf out of the way. I think that's going to work. Let's get some cutting medium on that. Some of this gloopy stuff on, which I hope will be okay for this. Let's see how we get on. Which I've got the chuck key handy. I'll bring that down. Let's get the chuck round to there so it can't move. Get that started in there. Let's get that out of the way. I've dropped, that's in there really nice. Drop the, you put that in tight. Tap wrench. Don't particularly like tapping into stainless steel. That does seem to have gone through okay. It is quite thin material, but let's hope that's going to work okay. It's not quite as painful as I thought it was going to be. So, but I've got a decent thread in that. Just oh, there's a thread there, so hopefully that's going to be okay. I'll take all this out and then we'll try the screw in that and see how it goes. Well, there's our part. So I've got the little plate screwed onto the hook part. So what I've now got to do is transfer. I can get this in focus. is to transfer transfer that onto the ruler and then fix it onto the ruler itself, so that gives me the little hook on either side. So that'll be the next little job to do. And we've got to drill through the ruler now. I just hope it drills through in the same way as it did when I did the test on the other end. This time, because the ruler obviously is wider, I can actually use some parallels in here to hold it in position. So we'll line that up and let's see how we get on with this. Okay, that was easy enough, fortunately. Well, there we have it. There's our hook ruler. It's come out. Not, of course, you've got to clean the bit of blue off there. That's come out reasonably well. I mean, that screw's not exactly central there, but that doesn't matter as long as we've got that. Obviously, that edge tight against that edge there. That's the important thing. So when I sort of coming to sort of measure anything up, we can just hook that over the end and mark bits of material. And obviously for me, the directions I've got, these rulers have got metric on the top and imperial on the bottom. So that's I'm quite pleased with that. The worry was getting that hole in there didn't matter as long as it was in there. That's fine. But getting actually the hole on that side in the correct position, that was the important thing, to get it in the right place, basically. That could be screwed in from either side. And I've used a little 3mm cap head screws. Oddly enough, for another job I did, I'd already cut. I put that one through and then sort of cut it down to size. For the one there on that side, I had some of these where I'd already cut them down for another job and cut them too short. And I thought, well, I'm not going to throw them away. I still had them, but they were just about right to go through there. I could probably take that one out and file it down a bit more, but probably won't. It may not matter at all, because the thing is that using it, you've got to sort of well, I've got to sort of hook it on that side basically to make my measurements. There is a little bit overhang there, so I think probably I will fold that down so that I can hook it against there as well. Actually, it does do that, but it would seat a bit better if I just file that screw down a little bit more. Anyway, that's it. Quite pleased at how that came out. I mean, I didn't say my reason for doing this. It's I've wanted a hook ruler for a very, very long time. The main company that makes them now is Starrett, but the Starrett ones are so expensive, incredibly expensive. They were also made by Lufkin, but I don't know if Lufkin still exists. I've got a Lufkin ruler, 6-inch ruler, but it's not made in America, it's made in China. So whether they've allowed their name to be used by other people or not, I don't know, but I suppose that possibly they are made by other people, but I'm not really aware of that. So there we are. That's obviously saved me one huge amount of money. I mean, the materials here, it was a scrap piece of stainless steel that I had, which I've had for a very long time. Which didn't cost me anything. It was free. The screws obviously there probably worth pennies. The ruler, I don't know how much this cost. It probably was only a few pounds. I've got 2 of these, and I've had them for many years. Obviously, and I do use these, but I do like the Chesterman, Rayburn Chesterman rulers, which are these. I really like these, so I tend to use these all the time. These have got metric on one side and imperial on the other, but for the hook ruler it's probably better to have both scales on the one ruler, I think. So there we are, pleased with that. Let me know what you think. But you know, it's taken, this has again been a one afternoon project. A little bit of machining on the milling machine and drilling holes with my bench drill. That's it basically. But obviously even a project like this takes quite a long time to do. Of course, they're trying to sort of set the camera up at the same time. That you know, takes a little bit longer to do, but I don't care. That's really why I'm doing it. So there we are. Anyway, well, thanks for. Obviously, I know I didn't show the whole process, but I hope I've shown the important parts of this. Although this ruler is very thin, I did actually tap that. It's probably only taken about a thread in there. Obviously, I think I made a mistake here. Probably what I should have done was perhaps found some other way of attaching that. But what my thought was, if this didn't work, I could probably, as that's a little bit longer on that side, I could probably pin that side over if necessary. But at the moment, it seems to be holding quite well. You know, it's held on nice and tight. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for joining me. Thanks again to all the subscribers to the channel and all the various comments. And obviously, if you have a comment on what I've done here, please drop something in the comments to me. Well, that's it. Hope to have another video for you very soon, and I'll say bye bye for now.